Thanks for Riding presents More Riding Times, bringing to you the remaining new roller coasters in the US for 2015. We've already informed you about Impulse at Cannibal, Laugh Track at Hershey Park, Batman the Ride at Fiesta, Texas, Wicked Cyclone at New England, and Twisted Colossus at Magic Mountain. Now we go to Lagoon in Salt Lake City, Utah, where they will be getting Cannibal, a 208-foot vertical lift with 116-degree drop, 3 inversions, a tunnel, a water feature. It will eat other roller coasters in their tracks. There's going to be Fury 325 at Carowinds in the Carolinas. This will be a 325-foot tall B&M airtime and speed machine. Fans of Leviathan at Canada's Wonderland should be thrilled. Fans of Intimidator at Carowinds should seriously reconsider. At Keansburg Park in New Jersey, they will be getting Looping Star, a Pinfari Zyklon ZL42. A looping Zyklon model with a 30-foot tall loop. This was manufactured in 1985, formerly at Beach Bend Park in Kentucky. It will harken back to simpler times, times with less safety and fewer lawyers. It'll be sure to break some necks with looping fun and excitement in its new location. Next we go to Florida for Starliner at the Miracle Strip Pier Park. This will be a GCI Woody, an ode to the original roller coaster at the original Miracle Strip. Holiday World in Santa Claus, Indiana will be getting Thunderbird, a B&M launched wing coaster. It'll be 140 feet high, reach speeds of 60 miles per hour, and have 4 inversions. What a launch into steel coasters for this wooden park. It leaves us all to wonder, what does this have to do with Thanksgiving? Adventureland on Long Island will be getting a Mack spinning mouse to replace the 23-year-old Hurricane roller coaster. It will be a 55-foot high compact design to fit in the space-starved park. It will be the tallest and fastest coaster Adventureland has ever had. There will be a contest to name the new ride. For more on this contest, we'll take you on location to T. Parkington.
This is Steve Parkington reporting from Adventureland on Long Island, USA. The eligible names for the new coaster will be Turbulence, the Boomerang, the Rotator, Mantis, the Jester. We'll have to wait to see which one wins. Back to you, Franklin.
Wow, what fun and completely inappropriate name for a spinning mouse coaster. What's your favorite? Cedar Point? On to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, Virginia, where, well, what? Never mind. So there you have it. The remaining new roller coasters in the US for 2015. It's a great time to be alive. This has once again been Franklin Fordrick. Thanks for riding.
Mantis? That's got to be a mistake, right?
More 2015 stuff. We're going to try to round up the rest of the roller coasters coming to you new for 2015. And in one case, not so new, but new to that park for 2015.
What is Cannibal?
Well, it's a person that eats their own kind.
Sounds delicious.
It's also a new for 2015 roller coaster.
Going into Lagoon, right? Utah?
One of the rather stranger names
I
for a
suppose,
park,
yeah.
just called Lagoon. Yes, it is somewhere right around Salt Lake City, Utah.
Now, there isn't a lot of information on this ride as of yet.
Well, it's strange. There is, but there isn't. There's quite a bit of information about, and even renderings of what the ride will look like, and about what the ride's going to do in general. Even more than in general, about what the track is going to be like. But then we don't have a manufacturer tied to it, and I guess that's the biggest piece that's missing. And also, if you look at the renderings, it also kind of leaves a lot of questions. What they're doing is, I think, the biggest single investment they've ever done in this park. They're trying to put themselves on the map at this point, for sure, with this. It's going to be a major installation, a giant ride, but it still has a kind of a quirky side to it. So I guess let's get into it. Basically, the ride is going to be highlighted by a vertical lift, kind of sticking with the trend of vertical lift, more compact steel coasters. So this will fall right in line with that. But it's going to be a 208-foot tall vertical lift, which I'm pretty sure is going to be the tallest of those.
Yeah, it's got to be.
When it opens. And so, yeah, that's, I mean, basically a hyper. A vertical lift hyper coaster.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy to start with. They're going to go with the beyond vertical drop, which most of these vertical lift coasters do. This one's going to make it to 116 degrees. And then it's going to go, it's going to have 3 inversions and just a bunch of twisted track. And if you look at the renderings, it's odd because there's a lot of other stuff going on besides coaster track. Namely, it's like a giant tower of some sort.
And I would assume that that's where the 200 plus vertical lift is going to be. Going to be enclosed in that tower.
Yeah, it looks like the main lift is enclosed. So it might have theming. It might be kind of a la Mystery Mine.
Yeah, what's going to be in there?
Yeah, it looks like the inversions and most of the rest of the track is outside, but then you have this giant tower in the center. But then they're also going to build like a man-made little canyon and some water. And there's going to be a helix at some point. It's going to go around this sort of the rocks and waterfalls. It's a water feature, I guess, that they promised to have here.
Yeah, I have no idea exactly what the theme of this ride is. I mean, it's called Cannibal, which, I mean, what does that have to do with this giant tower and this rock work and this waterfall and
it looks
coaster and all this stuff?
It looks like it would be another mine themed coaster or something like that.
Yeah.
The Cannibal name, I guess, just comes from, and this I read about it, just from the more typical, let's get a menacing sounding name for our new coaster.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I saw someone, a PR person from the park, coin the phrase, this coaster will eat other coasters. So it's Cannibal. It's eating its own kind.
Yeah, I kind of like the name. I think the name's fine.
Yeah, I even kind of like that idea. It eats other coasters alive, or however they want to say it, in their tracks.
Reminds me of King Ka when they were promoting it. It said, this eats all records.
Yeah,
because it was tiger themed.
Yeah, I like the name, but then the ride itself just does its own thing. It looks like, but then we don't know, because then this is where details stop, where they're not saying anything what's going to be in the big tower, or giving any kind of video of ride through POV, or even just an off ride video, or anything else. Or again, I don't even see a manufacturer linked to this, which is very strange.
Yeah. So it's possible this could be in-house.
Yes.
That Lagoon could actually be doing this all on their own.
Yes. I did see in an article, again, with that same PR person, did say that it's being mostly fabricated like locally. Local to the Salt Lake City, Utah area. So very good chance that, yes, this is just Lagoon going off the rails, losing their minds. just like, oh, like, you know, they've seen a lot of Eurofighters and such around, and they're like, we could do this and make it twice as high as any of them. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
So I don't know. This could be a really cool little ride that I hope to ride one day, or it could be a disaster.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting.
Another fact about this ride is, again, according to the park, is it's been 5 years in the making.
Oh, wow.
Apparently. Yeah.
Okay, that's
5 years worth of planning and designing. So again, that also kind of supports the idea that this could be in park.
Yeah.
That it took them that long to work it out and figure out how to do this, and now here we are. They're finally, the track pieces are being shipped in. It's being built, and I don't know what's gonna be the result.
The whole in-house angle just is really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because
I always just think of Knoebels.
Because it's not a lot of parks do in-house stuff. You know, obviously Disney did their whole thing, yeah, and you know, did a lot of their stuff in-house.
They don't even do it anymore, though.
But yeah.
So what does that tell you?
Right. And yeah, Knoebels, and then Universal did a lot of their stuff in-house.
Oh, not coasters though.
But no, not
coasters, but okay.
But yeah, no, just in-house stuff is really interesting because it's total gamble. You have no idea what to expect. You have nothing to go off of, really.
Right, unless
unless
it's like Disney, it's an established in-house record. But other than that,
I mean, you can sort of see what they were trying to go after, what they're trying to imitate, but I mean, you don't really know how it's going to turn out.
That's an interesting experiment for sure to try to follow. Should have called it Mormon. Polygamy?
Polygamy the ride.
No, I didn't want to do that. Dual track coaster.
Ah, there you
the
go.
Polygamist. No, I didn't want to do that one. All right, we had to go there before we ended this one. Fury. Was there a POV here? There we go, POV.
Well, looks like Leviathan to me.
Going up. Okay. That was a quick lift. That wasn't 325 feet.
That's like 2 feet.
Right over. Whoa.
All right. And another twist. Okay, so far, maybe some air in the first drop, and everything else is a twist turn.
Twist turn. Yep. The entry path. Now twisting around some more. Oh, here we go.
What is this?
Say winter time hill. Screaming about.
Oh, another hill. Okay.
Wow. I just got bored watching that.
Well, we should say that we have ridden Leviathan at Canada's Wonderland.
Yes, we have.
So we've done one of these 300-foot B&Mers.
Beamers, if you will. And yeah, and we did not think too much of it.
Yeah, it was pretty whatever. And this looks like a very similar layout. This actually looks longer.
Yeah, it definitely seemed longer than I remember Leviathan being.
Yeah, Leviathan was kind of short. But this looks not very exciting.
It doesn't look any better or worse, I don't think. I don't know that it looks any worse either. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
It just looks more of the same.
Yeah, more of the same.
You just get a 300-foot hill to start, or a 300-plus foot hill to start, and then you just kind of glide around a lot.
Yeah, you know,
with some speed. Speed is nice, but I just don't see too many elements that are really going to thrill here.
Right. I remember we said after we rode Leviathan, oh, maybe B&M, since this is the first time they went 300 feet, they were a little concerned, so they didn't want to put in a lot of airtime hills. They didn't want to go too crazy because they didn't want to accidentally make an unpleasant ride.
Yeah, something overly extreme or that would
but now
hurt people or something.
Yeah, that they did that one, they got it under their belt. They're doing their second one, and they're just doing more of the same crap. They're not putting in more airtime hills, or it doesn't look like they're making it more thrilling. So I don't really understand why B&M... Well, I mean, I know it's not just B&M. I understand they're working with the park to make this ride, but it's like a lot of, like you said, a lot of gliding around.
Yeah, it's all about the first hill being as high as it is, and then just the speed.
And if it's going to be a speed ride, I want it to be more like Intimidator 305, where it's low to the ground, and you're kind of whipping back and forth a lot. This is like you're just kind of gently making those wide turns and just kind of moseying around to the front of the park and kind of moseying back is what it looks like.
Yeah, you want to be graying out. You want to be getting punched in the face. That's what you want. Yeah, I mean, it's no doubt that the existence of that one ride is going to make all these other 300-foot rides, the Giga coasters, seem lame.
Yeah.
To me, at least. Because, yeah, that is kick-ass, and all the rest are not.
Right.
Because this is just B&M's version of Millennium Force, which is another ride that's just based on the fact that the first hill was 300 feet, and there's a lot of speed.
Right.
But there's nothing else going on. There's not enough changes. You're just constantly just moving ahead, and just the very wide turns and very spread out additional airtime hills, and there's not enough going on. There's no bite to the rest of the experience. It's just gliding fast.
We rode Steel Eel this past summer at SeaWorld San Antonio.
SeaWorld's soon to be closed, Dio.
And it was awesome, and that's not even 200 feet. And I was flying out of my seat the whole time. Ejector air on every hill.
Yeah, it's not the size of the hill, it's how you use it.
And that's so true. I don't understand these 200-foot coasters. It's like, come on, guys. Like, you could put the airtime hills in. You could do it.
Yeah, they're so hesitant. I don't know.
So this is not making me want to go back to Carowinds.
Yeah, no, it's just whatever. And ironically, they already have what we agreed to be the worst of the B&M 200-footers.
Oh, yeah. Right, they're Intimidator.
So now they have this. It's just... Because that was a thing at Canada's Wonderland where we also agreed that Behemoth was actually better than Leviathan.
Yes.
We enjoyed riding the B&M Hyper more so than the Giga. Here, I don't know. Carowinds, I don't know, because Intimidator really bored us to death at that time. But it may have just been a bad ride on an off day. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard. We only did it once, so...
Well,
so it could...
We only really did it once. That other time doesn't count.
Oh, well, yeah, you're right. The row 4.
The row 4
fiasco.
Bullshit. That doesn't count.
Assigned seating.
Yeah.
So, Fury 325. That's another thing. I don't know about you, Andrew. I don't like this putting the height in the name. I was never a fan of Intimidator 305. Just call it Intimidator. It's a cool name. I know they put 2 in the same year, but that's been happening for, decades now. With these chains of parks for how many Batman the Rides are there? They're not putting numbers or things after those. I mean, who gives a shit, right?
Yeah.
So just you had 2 rides both called Intimidator. That's fine. That's fine. One didn't have to be 305. It's just dumb. I'm not a fan of that. And then there's no reason at all. There's no other major coaster called Fury right now in this country. They got the copyright for it, right? So just call it Fury. That's it. Why is it Fury 325?
I guess I would rather that they not do that, but in the end, it's whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it all goes back to Magnum.
Oh.
Right? I guess I don't think about it that way because I just think about it as Magnum.
Right.
That's what everybody calls it. But officially, it is Magnum XL 200.
And we're not in the era anymore of the Coaster Wars where they would put those stats It's you remember back in the 90s, early 2000s, where they would have a plaque, in the queue or in the station of some of these big coasters, and they'd have the stats on there of the height and the speed and the length of the track and all this stuff.
Yeah, sure.
It's like nobody does that anymore. Nobody gives a shit about that anymore these days. So it's like, why are you putting the height of your coaster in the name? Nobody cares.
It's needless. Didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
Just had to say that. Had to throw that out there.
Well, what do you think about the new entrance? Completely redesigning the entrance.
So totally
it's going to look very much like Cedar Point's entrance, what it looks like now. They're pretty much copying that. With the coaster going, you're going to walk under a coaster, ride a B&M coaster also. Blue track.
Same color track just about, yeah.
And, a tannish, brownish plaza.
Whatever, I guess.
Yeah, personally, I don't really care because I don't really have an attachment to that park.
Yeah, that's a park we discovered kind of late, and we didn't get there. We don't have any nostalgia from our formative years or anything there, so it's easy to just kind of not care.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if we grew up in that area, and then we'd be like, oh, you can't get rid of that original plantation building. That's so historic, and this and that. And so it's relative.
Right.
We'll admit that. It's relative. But in this case, I guess, yeah, I don't really care.
So there you go. Fury.
325.
Whatever.
678. When the day comes that I'm there, I will be like, oh, yeah, Fury. Okay. This will be fun. Try this out.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. It's just like I'll be excited enough when I'm there. I still don't have any great expectations, but we'll see. But, and for that park, is this a good addition? Second time now, third time overall, Cedar Fair is doing this. They did it at Cedar Point first. They had the 200-footer, then they put the 300-footer. At least those, though, were really completely different. Completely different manufacturers, kind of complete different styles.
Yeah.
You had the old Arrow, the first ever, hyper machine like that. And then you had an Intamin many years later. But now this is the second time they've done it with just B&M. Did it in Canada, B&M Hyper, then B&M Giger, and now doing it again here in Carowinds. So, what's this all about?
I don't know.
Does any one park really need both?
No.
A 200-footer and the 300-footer?
No, I don't think so.
With the exception of maybe Cedar Point, because it's kind of cool there, just because that is the park that you expect to just do nothing but coasters. And it's like, of course, they have every level. They have a 3, they have the 2, they have the 3, they have the 4. They have the 100 level that was the tallest at one point when it was built. They have all this crazy stuff all still existing in one park. So I think it kind of works there, because it's what you expect, just for that one particular park. But other regionals around the country and even in Canada, it is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's completely unnecessary.
And then especially when it's the same manufacturer. At least if you're going to do both levels, I say you got to go different manufacturers to get two different experiences.
Yeah, I agree. It does bother me. It's really not a great move.
Wow, so you're really against this. Like, I'm actually just kind of okay with it, but just okay.
I'd rather see a different ride type.
Yeah.
That park doesn't have yet.
Yeah, oddly enough, that is already a B&M heavy park. They have the stand-up. They have the inverted. I guess they don't have a flyer. Well, they have a flyer. They don't have a B&M flyer.
Oh, that's true. All right, so they have a flyer.
I'm just telling you. I mean, and they don't have they don't have a B&M sit-down.
No wing coaster.
No the wing coaster.
No dive machine.
Yeah, but would you be happier with that? Just the next gatekeeper? Because that would be the other thing. They could have just did that.
It depends on the layout. If it was, a small layout like they did for Six Flags Great America, I probably wouldn't be excited about it. But if they did like a big gatekeeper type layout, I would prefer that actually over this.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying because they obviously wanted to do something in conjunction with a new entryway, a refreshed entrance, and have it go over the entry. So what if they just did that? It would have just been another gatekeeper. Gatekeeper 2, or gatekeeper, and then they would have just put the height in the in the title.
Yeah, I'd rather see that than this.
All right. Actually, now that I brought that up, I have to say I would rather see that than this too.
Yeah.
Actually, I would be more excited for another gatekeeper.
Yeah, it's because Leviathan was really pretty bland.
Yeah, I mean, I like gatekeeper better than Leviathan.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. That's what they should have done. Keansburg in New Jersey is going to be getting a recycled ride. An old Zyklon, an old looping Zyklon. What more can we say about it?
Well, I have really nothing to say about this because I have not been to Keansburg. You have, Brian. And I've not ridden this ride. You have, Brian.
It's all me.
It's all you.
Yes, I rode this ride in a former location when it was at Beach Bend in Kentucky. Keansburg is a small park. I might use the word crappy to describe it. I wasn't very impressed with it. At the time when I was there, their big ride was a Schwarzkopf Wildcat. And I guess this is replacing that. But at any rate, now they're getting this Looping Star ride that's almost 30 years old. It's something else.
Well, you said it was a neck breaker, right?
Yeah. The thing about the Looping Zyklon is it's just so tiny. The loop is only 30 feet high. It's noticeably small. It's not what you're used to seeing. And yeah, it's just so tiny. It also it looks, at least to the naked eye, that it's perfectly circular. It really does seem like it's what I've seen pictures of, like the first ever loops at Coney Island at the turn of the century. They're just these perfect circles that didn't look more than 30 feet high. That's like what it is. It's just really crazy.
Yeah, and just for those that don't know, a loop needs to be in this oval teardrop shape so that you don't black out and don't break your neck.
Yeah, it makes it more enjoyable to ride. It lessens the forces on it.
Yeah, so a perfectly circular loop is not what you want.
All right, so no one gives a shit about Keansburg. All right, Looping Star, Keansburg, fuck it.
All right, what's next?
Yeah, Miracle Strip. It was park from the 60s into the last decade. So now, I don't think it's in the exact same location. I guess it's kind of close. They've opened Miracle Strip Pier Park. So it's a new park, but it's harkening back to the old one. And in Miracle Strip, the original, it opened with the park. It was a John Allen designed Woody called Starliner.
Oh, an Allen machine.
Yeah. It was 1963. So it was really, I never rode it. You never rode it.
Nope.
You guys out there never rode it. Put your hand down. Amongst locals, it was very popular. They really liked it. So this many years later, they're now bringing it back. Oh, the original Starliner, when Miracle Strip closed, actually it was a little earlier than I guess. I guess it was like 2005 or 6, because it had time to go to Cypress Gardens.
Oh.
The ride was purchased and moved to Cypress Gardens, where it operated for 2 seasons, 2007 and 8. At that point, we saw the end of Cypress Gardens. That was one thing that did not survive the Legoland transformation. I guess because it was a full-scale adult ride, and Legoland doesn't want any rides like that. So they dismantled it.
Oh, that's sad.
And that was the end of the Starliner. Until now. We're going to get a new version of it. It's going to be by GCI. Nice to see they're still around, getting some work. I really thought they were done, because between Rocky Mountain Construction and Gravity Group, when was the last time we've seen GCI?
Well, they did White Lightning at Fun Spot, right?
Okay, so Florida is keeping GCI alive.
Well, they did Gold Striker at California's Great America,
right? They did do
last
one.
year, 2013.
Okay, they're still around. They're still kicking. They're still doing a couple rides every now and then. So let's take a look. Let's see what Starliner is all about.
And yeah, it looks like Millennium Flyer trains.
Yeah, we're 15 years into that millennium, and they're still using those.
Not a fan of those trains.
Not a fan of.
Well,
maybe,
not a fan of the restraint. The lap bar is awful.
Yeah, because the way it comes down on you, you hate it. Heavily weighted.
Yeah, it just notches more and more into your lap as the ride goes.
They should have done a helix on that turnaround, because it's so short to begin with.
Oh,
Got a little more mileage out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, really short. GCI has done it again. They've built the same GCI ride that they built 21 times now. Right?
Yeah, they kind of do the same thing over and over again. So I will say, if the this new GCI Starliner, if it's as fast as it looks in the animation, it could be pretty good.
Yeah, it could definitely be fun. I have heard that the other one they just did in Florida, help me out here,
White Lightning
is good.
at
I've
Fun
heard good things
Okay.
about it, so I guess this could be good.
Yeah, I mean GCI. I mean, really, they're solid. They have made a couple of rides that have been really excellent, have blown me away, but just like 2 out of everything. Everything else is kind of the same ride, almost.
Yeah, I think that's the problem that GCI suffers from. It's just too much of the same after a while. It's that same curve drop to start it, and then they all just kind of feel the same. You could just connect them all end to end, and it's just one ride that's just the same
Yeah.
for the most part. Miracle Strip, whatever. Do it or don't. Starting the barn.
Oh, what?
Oh, we got a launch. Oh, barn.
Yeah, what holiday is that? Barn Day?
Barnless.
Ah. 4th of Barn Live.
I thought it was Farmula. Hey, that's another barn.
Oh,
What the hell was that?
we'll roll there and then... Wait. Give me a break.
Back to the original barn. All right, well, we were joking around a lot, but I don't know. That actually looked kind of cool.
Oh,
I think there's a lot going on.
yeah.
There's a kind of, a lot of action in that layout.
This is a big ride.
It's a big deal.
This is kind of a big deal, really.
It really is. Holiday World, I think, shocked the world on this one.
I don't think anybody saw this coming. B&M finally doing a launch coaster. I mean,
Well,
they did do that thing that one time.
right. Hulk. But as far as what I've ever found out about it, that was more of a Universal thing. They wanted the launch, and they kind of created that.
All right.
And, and then, B&M did the coaster. And at any rate, I mean, that was sort of it was obviously an isolated incident. We didn't know at the time, but it obviously was an isolated incident. And then for years, we've heard rumors of B&M working on finally having a launch, but nothing ever came out. Nothing ever came of it. And then until now, all of a sudden. But, I mean, what a pairing. Holiday World and B&M doing the launch. Of all the places to do it,
Right.
it's just so strange. I mean, it's great. B&M finally doing a magnetic launch.
Everything about this is pretty strange. Holiday World, known forever as a wood coaster park. They love their woodies.
Yeah, that's all they've done. They've only done, as far as major world-class custom rides, it's been woodies. They've had a kiddie steel coaster, and I think at one point they had like a Cyclone or something. But they've never done a custom steel. They've always stuck with the wood. That's been their bread and butter since they got into the coaster game.
And so, at least I would think, if they're going to go steel, they would do a Eurofighter, a small, compact steel coaster type thing that's so popular these days.
Yeah, those are all the rage these days anyway. And then in the case of Holiday World, just because they don't have experience with steel, because they are a smaller park, and they don't have too much competition nearby.
Yeah.
It's just a wow kind of thing. It's just, that's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just wow.
Yet they somehow Well, I don't know if it's necessarily that Holiday World talked B&M into doing a launched coaster, because I think B&M, isn't really gonna listen to anybody. They're not gonna be bullied by any park. They're gonna do the launch coaster when they're good and ready to do it. When they have developed that technology to a point where they feel it's going to be reliable and thrilling and etc. Because they don't rush into anything.
Yeah, B&M has proven to be very careful.
Right.
They're probably the most careful of all amusement ride manufacturers just across the board. They don't care. They won't be rushed for anything.
Right.
They're not trying to be the first out to do something just to be the first, but then it's a disaster. And it has a ton of breakdowns. And it needs to be redesigned after the fact or something like that. They don't want that. They just want to wait till they're ready, and it's the most well-engineered, perfect thing they can make.
Right. They're concerned with having the best in its class, not the first in its class.
Very good way to put it, yes.
So, yeah, the launch aspect of this, really strange. And also the fact that it's a wing coaster, a launched wing coaster, is the other part of this that is very strange.
Yeah, because even for B&M to do the first ever launch, again, outside of Hulk, wouldn't they go with a sit-down? Start there.
Right. That's what I would think. That's what I was waiting for all these years.
But just to jump right to the wing coaster, just go for it. Giant, heavy car. And that overly wide track and everything, and just jump right to that, and let's just launch that. See how it does. It's pretty crazy.
And the layout does look good.
Yeah, it just, again, you never know until you ride it, but just looking at the animation, it looks like it could definitely be the best wing coaster.
Yeah, this looks like it could be better than Gatekeeper at Cedar Point.
Yeah, I mean, the launch, actually, what are we looking at with the launch? Do we know?
60 miles an hour.
60 miles an hour.
So 60 miles an hour is substantial. Nothing to sneeze at.
It is. I'd be a little happier at 70.
Well, yeah.
It always brings me back to Batman and Robin, the Chiller, and that was always, and I know you felt the same way. That always seemed like that was the perfect launch.
Yes, that is my favorite launch of all time.
That seems to be just the right speed. It just gets you the right way.
Yeah.
Just gets you in your gut. That's so, because Storm Runner is like that now. Storm Runner I think is like 72 or something like that, and that I think might be my favorite launch in existence still today. So something about that 70, right? That's like that's the sweet spot.
Yes, it is.
The rocket coasters, it's almost too fast, where you kind of lose. There's that immediate rush when you first go, but then it just gets kind of cartoonish almost after that. It's just kind of like, oh, here I am going for the ride. And you almost lose, you almost go numb because it's so fast and crazy. You just feel the wind against you, and that's it. And then there's anything that's too much slower, like the Premier, the Flight of Fears.
Yeah,
that model, that's like 50, I think, or something, or 55, and that always seems a little like lacking.
Yeah, California Screamin'
like
is
too slow.
Around 50, also, I want to say.
Yeah, is that around 50? Yeah, something like that. And those always come off a little too slow.
It's like, it's not quite enough.
Like they're not thrilling enough. So 70, I don't know. To me, that's the sweet spot. So 60, I don't know what else is 60 to compare it to.
Cheetah Hunt at Busch Tampa is a 60-mile-an-hour launch.
Yeah, but that's no comparison. I mean, that's just a mess of a ride. All right, so it's enough that I'm a little concerned, but it still has potential.
Yeah, so this one is really very exciting. This is a ride that makes me want to go back to Holiday World.
Yes.
Because, I mean, Voyage is excellent. I love Voyage, but it's tough to work that park in because it's kind of in a remote area, and, they don't have a million other rides that I would want to do. So this B&M coaster...
You don't like Scarecrow Scrambler?
It's fine.
Okay.
No, but this is a ride that makes me want to work it in to some trip.
Already ahead of you, buddy.
Oh boy.
Already ahead of you.
Can't see that. Brian's winking at me right now.
It's the Santa Claus in me. What can I say? I'm Santa Claus. You boys will be coming to my park next year.
Is this going into Thanksgiving land, that section?
Well, yeah, that's an interesting thing. Yes. This has been confirmed by the park. It's going into Thanksgiving, which is interesting to start just because of the fact that everything they put for the last decade has gone into Thanksgiving. Ever since they created Thanksgiving land, every new ride now just goes into there. They haven't done anything else. I mean, they don't have a ton of land. I guess that's the land they have is all in toward the back where they had the Thanksgiving. But it's like maybe they could have tried to figure out how to hook something onto Halloween.
Yeah.
Or even Christmas. Do something with Christmas finally. So it's not just Santa Claus in his house. It's something more. So that's kind of odd. Yeah, it's just more. Yeah, it looks like it's going to interact with Voyage there for a second or a couple times. I'm assuming this is going on the land that was occupied by that dropper, Shoot the Chutes, that failed.
Oh, Pilgrim's Plunge.
And they pulled out. This is a complete side note, but a case where a park admitted a mistake and reversed it within a few years, which you just about never see.
Yeah, good for Holiday World for admitting that they put in a shit ride.
Yeah, they made a mistake. They went with Intamin.
Yes.
Plain and simple.
And for their big coaster, their big steel coaster.
Their more or less first ever steel coaster.
Yeah, they did not go with Intamin. They went with B&M.
Good job.
So they learned from their mistake.
Kudos to the Koch family.
Yeah.
They did a great thing. Someone knew what they were doing. It's amazing. They probably spent a little more, but they're going to get it back in the end.
Oh, definitely.
As far as Thanksgiving, though, what does this have to do with Thanksgiving? A Thunderbird?
Yeah, and a barn theme.
And it's so it's like a giant bird that's shooting out of a barn. It's like launching out of a barn, and then going through the air all crazy, and then comes back through a barn at the end and kind of crashes through a smaller barn before landing back in the original barn. But where's the Thanksgiving holiday tie-in? I don't get it.
Yeah, this is more of a Halloween type ride, if anything. You know, similar to Raven.
It's like orange track.
Yeah, it's a bird flying around doing these, daredevil maneuvers and stuff in a scary barn with fog and lightning going off before you launch. It's very Halloweenish.
Yeah. So that part of it is really odd.
Yeah, it's just where they had the... Well, I mean, they... I guess it's tough to theme things to Thanksgiving. Who knew?
Well, yeah. I'm actually shocked they made it as long as they did.
I know.
They figured out Turkey Whirl.
Yeah.
The Tilt-A-Whirl. They figured out how to do a Thanksgiving turkey dark ride.
That's incredible to me.
They did the restaurant, I guess that's the only thing that does seem like it lends itself immediately to Thanksgiving. If you're gonna do a Thanksgiving land, you're gonna do a Thanksgiving meal theme.
Yeah, you know what? They did follow through with that
because that's all Thanksgiving really is a meal.
And they actually do serve turkey and mashed potatoes and all that typical stuff you would find.
And I actually did have it, and it was very good.
There you go.
I did enjoy it. Not by far not the best or anything like that, but let's not get too crazy here. But it was good. It was a solid enough meal. And then they even figured out Voyage.
Yeah, it's like a bit of a stretch, but...
Yeah, it's a very much a stretch, but at the same time, it's like, okay, it's a Pilgrim's Voyage. And
and then Pilgrim's Plunge, that really didn't have anything to do with anything. I guess stuck the name Pilgrim in there.
The Pilgrims... They didn't have any theming anyway, it had zero theming on it, from what I saw. I was never there with it there, but I guess one of the Pilgrim's ships took a plunge.
Yeah, and then now finally this Thunderbird, absolutely nothing to do with Thanksgiving.
Just a Thunderbird.
It's just its own thing, really. Which is fine, because that park really doesn't have... That park hardly has any theming anyway, so whatever. Doesn't really matter. They'll put a couple of banners up. When Holiday World first announced this, I actually wasn't that excited about it. But the more I thought about it, the more time that went by, the more excited I got. And now I'm at the point where I am very excited.
And I think that second go at Gatekeeper helped.
And I think that definitely pushed me over the top.
Yeah. The revisiting of Gatekeeper and enjoying it a lot more the second time around. I think after some of that, it's just that sometimes it's just that pressure when it's the new ride, and it's just that pressure, like it has to be great, and then sometimes it just falls short of that. But once the pressure was off and it wasn't new anymore and it was just doing it again, that helped a lot.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
And also we rode the better side.
Yeah, I think we figured it out.
It's a right side ride all the way, boys. And girls. Boys and girls, right side all the way on the Gatekeeper. So yeah, I guess we'll look forward to doing Thunderbird, doing it on the right side, and seeing what she's got. And now it's time to talk about our very own Adventureland. And I say our very own because it's right here on Long Island. Little park I used to work at. Adventureland. They're actually getting a new roller coaster. They are one of the new for 2015 roller coasters in the country, which is shocking because they don't get roller coasters very often.
No. That park is extremely tiny.
Yes, it's only 10 acres. The entire park.
They currently have 2 roller coasters?
They have 2, yeah. They've had 2 for a number of years. The newest one is the Ladybug, which went in 2001, actually the year I started working there.
So it has been a very long time since they've gotten a new roller coaster.
And their main ride, the main roller coaster, has been for 23 years now, the Hurricane, which is an SDC, one of the SDC Hurricanes.
And those are very fun.
They're very fun. They're
like
becoming a rare breed at this point. There's been many manufacturers that have made that same design, that same model. It's a weird story where it's not all SDC. There's some Zerperla has made it.
Oh,
and
really?
SNMC. It's another company. There's always 3 companies that account for all of them around the country. So the Hurricane is leaving, and I think it is about time. You know, that's a park where they absolutely do not have the option of keeping that ride and adding a coaster somewhere else. It's just impossible. It's completely locked in by shopping centers and a major secondary road. So there's nowhere for them to go. So they have to. And they should. I think they should. I mean, as far as compact coasters go, though, they did pick an awesome one in that Hurricane. And that's great, but it's still, I guess it had to go at some point.
Yeah, nothing lasts forever anymore.
Yes, well put. So I guess the real question is, I mean, is the Mack spinning mouse that they're going to replace it with, is that the right move, though? It's not just a standard Mack mouse. They didn't just go there. They didn't turn the clock back to 96 and try to pretend like that's a good move. They didn't do anything like that. So that's good. So Mack spinning. I don't know. What do you think?
It's all right. I don't know if there's another coaster type that is going to be, just as or more thrilling that would fit into that space. Like, because I don't know, like a Eurofighter I think is too big, right?
I think even those, yeah.
So it's like if you're going to replace an SDC Hurricane, you have very few options.
A regular mouse, Repricon or Zamperla spinning mouse would have definitely not been as good as this.
Right.
Those ones that tend to be a little painful.
Oh, yeah.
And you apparently can get ejected from.
Oh,
you found out later. Volare.
Oh,
that would have been a terrible move.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. They didn't get anything used at all. That's good. This is pretty high up on the list of what you could get. I don't know if it's the absolute best, though. And the more sewn spinning mouse, which I kind of think is actually that's actually the best one.
Yeah, that would have been
or the
preferable one to go with.
Gerslauer,
but
might even be better than the Mack. I think Mack might actually be my third favorite.
But the Gerslauer one is very good.
I definitely like Mack better than the Revercon and Zamperla that we mentioned, but I think I like the Gerslauer, which is like the Six Flags ones.
Yeah, the former Tony Hawk's Pandemoniums now.
Or the more Sones, even better than that.
Yeah.
I think overall it's a good idea. It's good. I'll give it to them because it could have been a lot worse. There's more mistakes they could have made that they didn't, that they avoided. There's maybe only a couple, 3 models you came up with that would have been better. But there's like 20 to 40 different things that could have been worse. So they did pretty well overall. I'll give it to them. For a park that hasn't made the best decisions in the last 10 years or so, this is not so bad.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
I'll give it to them. I guess we'll be doing it. You gotta. It's so close.
Oh, yeah. Got to do it.
So the only other point about this ride is that they're holding a naming contest. So they have laid out 5 potential names. So what do we got for these silly names? I think this is a pretty silly bunch of names. I like the fact that they do have a full logo for each one already made up.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to check out the Adventureland website,
Adventureland.us,
and you come to the contest, you can vote if you want. All right, so we got some fun names here. Turbulence,
the Boomerang,
the Rotator,
Mantis,
and the Jester.
yeah, so 3 have the in there.
Okay. So obviously the one that sticks out to me right off the bat is what the fuck is Mantis doing in there? What?
Cedar Fair, don't they have the rights to that still?
Like, what do they give them up ahead of them closing that ride or changing it? Like, they just already sacrificed the rights? Can't we go one season without a ride named Mantis in existence? I mean, was that Adventureland's take on the situation? You know, that's such a kick-ass name. We just can't let it die. Like, they just knew they were gonna end the Mantis name for that ride at Cedar Point, so they're gonna take it immediately. So the seamlessly moves into 2015. There's still a ride called Mantis. Thank goodness. I was so worried about that.
And this ride has just as much to do with Mantis stuff.
Yeah.
Yet another ride.
We went from the standing Mantis to the spinning Mantis.
What's going on with this? Don't call rides Mantis, all right? Just leave Mantis out of it.
It's not a good name. No, wait. I got it. I got an idea. How about some backstage passes? No. I got an idea. Wait. Mantis has never spun this much.
There you go.
It's a spinning Mantis, folks.
Spinning Mantis.
So I just can't believe that. And there's actually like a Mantis in the logo.
Well, it looks just like the Cedar Point Mantis logo. It took everything.
It's so bad. Mantis. It's like we have 5 names. Millennium Force. Iron Dragon. Mantis. Raptor. Disaster Transport. It's pretty damn close. Wow. It's got, the Mantis arms in the same way. The Cedar Fair.
It's the same exact thing.
It's not. I mean, the Cedar Fair one looks a little bit more menacing, a little more evil. They made him look a little friendlier almost, but overall, it's the same exact thing. Yeah, it's just.
That's unbelievable. See, if you had told me this, I never would have believed you.
You'd have been like, "What, man?" It's like,
I would have thought you were kidding. I wouldn't have believed it.
I'm really shocked Disaster Transport isn't one of the options because they got rid of that ride.
You know what? If that was a choice, that would be my favorite one.
Well, it's such an awesome name.
Yeah.
I think we all have to vote for Mantis for the goof.
For the goof.
And to see if they do get sued. Because they might. I don't know. I mean, Cedar Fair really might have. I mean, who knows? I mean, just because they're, doing something with that ride now because of whatever. That's something they're doing. But it doesn't mean that the copyright just happens to be up right now. I mean, they could have it for another 10 years. We don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So it really could be a potential conflict here.
Yeah, sure.
So it would be really funny. And, this is a little on the inside, but having worked for them, I do know the guys who own the place and run the place, and they don't know much about parks.
Oh,
They're
really?
not very wise overall about things. So they may not even know that there's a ride called Mantis at Cedar Point.
How could you not with the name and that logo?
I don't know. But how did they pick that then anyway? I don't know. How'd they get to that point?
It's so weird.
Really mind-boggling. It's just great, though. Mantis. So that's the funniest one of all these. And then, I mean, the Jester, I kind of think of the Joker, but maybe that's just me. Half of what I hear in my daily life makes me think of Joker anyway, so that's just me. But that's just a bad name, the Jester.
Yeah, it's
just dumb.
It's not a great name.
Turbulence, that's like okay, I guess.
It's kind of generic, but aside from the weird Mantis thing, I think Turbulence is my favorite.
Oh,
It's not a great name, but I like it better than the other ones.
It's like the most harmless. But yeah, Mantis would just be because of the goof.
Yeah.
It kind of wins out. The boomerang, not just boomerang, the boomerang.
Yeah.
That makes absolutely no sense.
That's
And that's
bad.
another, like, because it's like there's so many boomerangs, and it's the name of a model from Vekoma. There's nothing boomerang about this. You don't go back
Right.
where you came. That just seems lazy and stupid.
Yeah, I think that's the worst name on this list.
The boomerang. And then I think maybe my personal favorite, the rotator. That's the only one that kind of makes sense. You do rotate.
You do.
You are going to be rotating. So they figured something out that's unique. The rotator.
Yeah, it's just so damn plain.
I know. And so's the logo. It just, all they did was reverse the last R to make it backwards. But yet, it just, I don't know. There's something kind of silly about it that I like. The rotator. I like the fact that it's at least apt for the ride. I like that.
Yeah, sure, right.
I would vote for the rotator or Mantis.
Well, I'd vote for Mantis.
Okay, so we're all voting for Mantis?
Yes.
That's going to be our goal, kids. All you guys listening, we have to make Mantis win now. Mantis. More Mantis. And if you can write in, disaster transport.
They actually do have a write-in option.
They have a write-in option, so we're going to write in disaster transport. That's what I want to see. Do it right now. We're going to do it right now, live, on the air, on the show. You got it?
We got it.
All right. We submitted
disaster transport.
There you go. We're going to do this. We're going to make sure this ride is called Disaster Transport. Because that would be awesome. So I'll be there next year for Disaster Transport in Adventureland. Should be great.
Yeah,
Looking forward to it. All right. Well, we'll see you guys at Adventureland next year. Thanks for riding.
Hey guys, we'd love to know what you think. Post a comment or question on thanksforriding.tumblr.com, or you can email us at thanksforriding@yahoo.com. We're on Facebook too.
Facebook? Don't tell me that's not big fun.